The guys that want to do it, that will do it, they're not talking. They're the ones writing notes and they're doing it. They don't have to be told twice to how to cook something. They just learn it the first time. And that's the difference between a lot of people. There's a lot of people that will talk and they'll say this and that, but they're not taking, you look at their actions and it's like, they don't really want it. I think a lot of people that don't know who they are yet, it's very easy for them to jump ship to ship because they don't know who they are. They don't know what they want, right? But when you find out exactly what you're good at or what your talent is, now it just becomes easier. All right, man, come follow me. So this is our patio seating right here. We have up to like 30 seats out here in our patio, and we're gonna bring out our grill here in the summertime to start barbecuing some skewers outside. Welcome in. This is our front lobby. We have also a private dining downstairs, so we'll go down there after, but that could be an entrance for those guests. But we'll start here in the cafe. So in here, this is our daytime cafe. We're gonna have a lot of coffee, a lot of breakfast items, brunch dishes. Right? This right here is like an original Italian mural from 1970. But my friend who's an artist, Eric Tiggs, he added all these different Filipino details on it. So he added our name, the beach, the burro fight in the middle. So I thought that's pretty cool. And then yeah, here we got the little bar cafe where we're doing like different drinks like matcha, iced coffee, mocktail drinks as well. Okay, here we got the main dining. So this will be where we sit people for dinner service. We got about 60 seats in here. We have a stage on the far end where we do like live acoustic and karaoke. Okay, and coming through this way, we got this private bar area, more like a speakeasy. Just someone that wants to go on a quiet date or quiet night out, they can sit in here. We also done some private parties in here as well. Yeah, but it's just a custom bar. This was built in maybe like 20, 30 years ago. When we got the place, this was already here, so we just cleaned it up and yeah, it's ready for service. And then for our private event, we have an event space in the basement. We'll take a look. So here we got the washroom area. We got men's and women's washrooms. We're gonna go right into here, which is our event space. Right. So we got this private event space that can go up to 80 to 100 people. Sit down. We have round tables. We have different types of setups. But so far we've done like a debut. We've done private parties, live band, DJs. Even a dance studio. Some dance groups wanted to use this space as a dance. But right now we have packages on our website at islas.com, and we have some pricing there if they wanted to celebrate in this event space.
How are you doing today, Mark?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great.
You're doing good?
Yeah.
All right.
Canada Day, man. Happy Canada Day.
Oh yeah, happy Canada Day.
It starts today, man.
It starts today. So, owner of Islas, right? Am I saying it right? Islas or Islas?
Islas, yeah.
Islas.
Yes.
Okay, the owner of Islas. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Who is Marc and what is Islas?
All right. Yeah, my name's Marc Buenaventura, owner and chef at Islas. So Islas, if you don't know, means islands in Spanish. So
Okay.
there was a certain time where they would address Philippines as La Islas Filipinas. So we wanted to represent the islands as a whole. So we took the word Islas as a way to represent the islands.
Were you born here or were you born in Islas?
Oh, so I was born here in
Oh, okay.
Toronto, but I got married in the Philippines. It's kind of where like the whole journey started when I first visited back as an adult,
Uh-huh.
and I got to explore, got to go around the islands, go island hopping, but that kind of started the curiosity with the food and the culture that we have there.
Interesting. I was doing some research on your Instagram. I was stalking your page basically. It was the your Isla's website. It said I was reading your bio. You used to be in the travel industry.
Yes.
So you used to be in the travel industry, and then you went into culinary. So why'd you make that switch?
Well, it's funny because I think for me, travel and food kind of go together. Because I noticed before I even got into the restaurant industry, and I was traveling, I was selling travel. A lot of the time when I talk to my guests or some of my clients, they would always talk about food, right? Or what food did they eat over there?
Mm-hmm.
Or same with myself, right? Because like if I went to another country, the first thing I'm gonna tell somebody was like, "Oh, you gotta try."
The food was amazing.
You gotta try this dish over there, right? So I remember when I was changing careers, it was something where, I was tied always into the food part of the travel.
Uh-huh.
So it made me think like, oh, maybe I should explore food and especially at the time because I wanted to do something with Filipino food.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay.
So did you always have the inspiration to start a restaurant, or it was like developed as you were working as a chef for all these places?
Well, when I changed careers into the restaurant,
Yeah.
I had the mind to think about eventually doing something with Filipino food.
Okay.
So I got in the industry kind of, thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to learn every area of the restaurant to the point where I could, eventually maybe own a restaurant, right? But that was more of a change of career. So before that, I didn't even know I could cook or, it wasn't something that I was passionate about, right? It was like more of a change of career and wanting to do something with Filipino food.
Okay. So when you changed careers, then you already had this idea that you wanted to start a restaurant, and we just went into the culinary just to build the experience in a sense?
Yes.
Yeah?
So I wanted to get my feet wet, right? Like
Yeah.
I was looking at what restaurants are doing good in the industry at that time. So when I was doing my research, I started looking at different restaurants in Canada, and I came across if you guys remember Joy's Restaurants.
Oh, I know Joy's Restaurant.
So that was one of the first restaurants that I started at when I chose to the culinary
In
career.
Toronto, right?
Yeah.
I know. When did you switch careers again? I mean, the year 20.
So this was probably I got married in the Philippines 2012, and then 2013 was when I sponsored my wife to come here to Canada.
Yeah.
So I think it was actually that year in 2013.
2013.
That's when I changed careers to go look into the restaurant industry.
And then when did you start Islas? How long has it been?
So from that point, I think it was 5 years after that. So I worked 5 years in the industry, going to different restaurants, trying different restaurants, having the opportunity to even open a new restaurant, with a company.
Yeah.
It kind of led my career to the point of opening Islas in 2017.
Oh,
So,
2017.
Yeah, we opened 2017, like in the winter 2017.
The winter time. Okay.
Yeah.
How was? I love asking everyone this.
Yeah.
How was like your early days of Islas?
Oh man, I gotta remind myself all the time. Actually, I feel like even right now, it's kind of bringing me back to those thoughts and feelings of when we first opened. Because now that we're in a new environment, a new space, it's like you don't know what to expect, right?
Mhm.
So when we opened that restaurant, it was like half the size of where I used to work, right? Like for the company I worked for before.
Okay.
So it was like, I don't know, it was one of these things where we're gonna open a door and just see what happens, right? We didn't have experience. My wife is like, she's an office girl. She's not used to talking to people,
Mhm.
but she had to play the role to start like, talking and serving people.
Yeah.
So it was just like,
A learning experience. A trial and
it
error.
was a trial and error, and like what you're trying today is not what you tried when we first started.
Yeah, of course.
It's just over time it got better and better, right?
Obviously, you guys must be doing something well if you guys have been in the business for what, 8 years, 7 years?
Yeah, this is gonna be our 8th year in
8
business.
years? What were some of like the biggest lessons you learned early on that evolved and made you to where you guys are right now?
I would say one of the first lessons that I learned when we opened Islas was first of all, learning to say no.
Go deeper on that. What do you mean?
So learning to say no, meaning in the first year or second year of business, like I could see why a lot of businesses will close, right? Because like there's so many people coming to you, like within that first year, offering you the best service, offering you this, offering this for your company, right? But if you keep saying yes to all of these things, next thing you know, you're gonna end up broke, right?
Oh, so you mean saying no to like promotions or opportunities that come to you
Yeah,
for the business?
meaning like there's opportunities that will obviously help you,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of people coming to you trying to sell you everything as well for your business,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Makes
And
sense.
you don't necessarily need it right away. It could help, I'm not saying these companies aren't gonna help, but you don't need everything right away. So for us, we just kind of had to figure out what we needed and kind of you grow slowly, right?
Yeah, you go slowly.
Yeah.
So what was the thing you said too much yes to that made you answer this?
Oh man, I don't want to hold things against people, but in the beginning, I took stuff personally, right? But I realized that it's business, right? Everyone's the sales guy's trying to make his commission.
Everyone's trying to make money.
Everyone's trying to, but there's a lot of, if you don't read in between the lines, there's a lot of people will sell you anything. And if you just sign the paper, you're stuck with a contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a problem for me, right? Like, they say a lot, like, oh, you could do that. They'll promise you a lot, I mean. But if it's not on the paper, at the end of the day, if I sign it, it's gonna come back to me.
Yeah.
So, and that was the problem, right? Because we signed up for, like say debit machines that.
I used to be in the debit machine industry.
Right, and it was like it sounded good. It sounded like it would help me save money, but at the end of the day, it didn't because the service didn't work properly, and there was no customer service to help us.
Yeah.
So now it was like, man, I'm not gonna pay for this, right? So it's like that, right? Where unless you really know what you need for your business, everything sounds good, right? Everybody will try to sell you something. So I guess for me, moving forward, I should know kind of what I need and what I don't need, right?
So it's saying like understanding like what you need is then you can say yes or no to whatever you think will benefit or not your company.
That's right.
In a sense, right?
Yeah, just having more knowledge, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the time you come in and we're starting a restaurant, but we didn't know like all these little details that will help the business, right? We kind of just knew the basics.
The basics?
So So I guess the more knowledgeable you are of the industry, it's just gonna help you along the way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when I was doing selling door to door the debit machines, the number one thing was actually not the number one. It's up there. It was like, I don't want to sign a contract because I know like you said, it has to be on pen and paper. Contracts are like the biggest objection like we get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just kind of be careful and read the lines.
Was there ever a moment? I'm sure like 8 years, 7 years in business. Was there ever a moment you had in business where things weren't going your way? It seemed really like doubtful. Like you were in a dark space, and sometimes you thought like maybe it was just easier to just pack up and just leave. Was there ever a moment that happened to you that you remember, and how did you like overcome that?
Okay. That's a complicated question because that's over time, right?
Yeah.
But I would say the restaurant industry as a whole has a lot of dark spaces like that. Meaning where, where a lot of our vices could be like going towards like say alcohol, for instance, or drugs, or partying.
Yeah.
Right. So especially if I'm not doing as well in business, the tendency is to kind of go towards those things, right? Just to pass time. But it's not always gonna
pass time.
Yeah, it's not gonna always answer the problem. It's not gonna be the solution. So there's been times I would say, where I got caught up a little bit too, with the drinking, with going out late nights where it's kind of taking me away from the focus of, okay, what does my business need right now to grow, right?
Because I feel like a lot of people especially like when you're going through tough times, it's normal to cope and just find excuses to wander off and deal with the problem later.
Yeah.
But I find that, especially during like, for example, nowadays, I can relate this to myself. I hate being on social media. Like I hate using like the apps and everything. Like I don't like it. I only started using it more because I had to do like this podcast thing.
Yeah.
But I find myself, whenever I am on the apps, like for example Instagram, I'm on it more because I'm trying to like procrastinate or delay the pain that I have to go through in reality. So I find that, for example, a lot of business owners or people in general, when they have a problem, they tend to shy away from it or mask it with something else. For like example, like you said, like alcohol, drugs, or maybe even like start a new venture because they didn't want to deal with the problem at hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like even just dwelling on like for me, I like to dwell on stuff sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want it to pass by, but I don't know what that is. I think that's a character thing. But for me, even just dwelling on the problem, it's not going to answer it, right? It's not the solution. But it's like, I don't mind dwelling on it either, right? You know what I mean? So I'll sit on it and I'll think about all the scenarios about, the problem instead of finding the solution. But, that's why I'm thankful. Like, we're a small business, so my wife plays a big part as well. Yeah. And she's very solution minded, right? So she'll also help me cope with those things. Right?
I find it's always good to have other people with you just for like second opinions.
Yeah.
Because you can get too wrapped up in your head.
Yeah.
And all you see is one focus. And then, for example, say I'm going through like a break or a tough time, or well, in my mind, I'm always like everywhere. And then I always talk to my other friend, and he's like, "You're so stupid. Just this is what you need right now.
Yeah.
Just focus on this." I'm like, I never thought about it that way.
I know. For me, I'm thinking about revenge. I'm thinking what? No, but you need those people in your life for sure. So with me, it's my wife that helps me kind of think more solution.
Yeah.
Instead of getting too distracted and not doing anything.
Would you recommend starting a business like by yourself or with like someone else, like a partner? Because like we're talking about like solutions or having two different minds. I know sometimes there can be like, for example, conflict interest, or you want to do your own thing, but you have to wait for the approval of your partner.
Yeah, that's a good
'Cause
question.
I struggle with that all the time too.
I think if you're that good at business, you're on your own, and you could handle the shots and take shots and call your shots, then that's good for you, right? Like I
Yeah.
think some people maybe are that talented or are that driven to do it on their own. Um, but having a partner is good too because it's like two is better than one.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
They could help each other on a lot of things, right, in business. Where one person can be one-sided, right? They only see it one
They're
way,
biased.
right? But they don't see every other angle.
Mhm.
For me, I like to see both sides. Like I don't want to be closed-minded to just what I think. That's why I'm more like I'm open to suggestions.
Mhm.
But it's just like keeping business business. Like me and my wife talk about like when we're talking about business, we have to just keep it business. It's not personal
Yeah.
anymore.
How do you keep it just strictly business? Because I know it's sometimes it's hard,
Yeah,
right?
it's
It's hard
hard.
to not take things personally.
It's hard because there's so much emotions involved.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of work that goes into especially this kind of business. Like it's blood, sweat, and tears. So obviously it's hard to just not be emotional. But we have to remind each other that when we're talking about it, it's not personal. It's business. Like let's find a solution that helps the vision or the goal of the business. And not take it like, oh, I'm not criticizing you.
Or I'm not attacking you.
I'm not trying to tell you
You're wrong or right. I don't like your opinion.
because that's how that's what it becomes, right? We think, oh, all the work I did doesn't mean nothing, but it does mean something. It's just it's not. You could do better, right? We have to always find ways to kind of remind each other that when we get into heated discussions or when we come to disagreement, we always have to think about what's going to be better for the business and not
Selfishly?
just better for ourselves
Yeah.
or for each other, right?
Yeah. I asked you remember Mitch from the Night Picker, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I asked him one of those questions too. I love asking that.
What did he say? What did he say?
So what he said was, I asked it in a different way. Asked it in a different way where I was like, how do you manage like your marriage between like business and your personal? And then he strictly just said, almost the same thing as you, just using different words. He just said, we don't take anything personal. When we talk about business, it's strictly business. And he and his wife sets like times. If I remember correctly, he sets like specific times to talk about business. For example, like when they're in their bed, Mitch is like, we don't talk about business because he's always talking about business, and he wants to talk to his wife. Oh, hey, Leanne, I have this cookie idea, and then the wife is like, I'm trying to sleep right now, not right now.
Yeah.
So he said, just talk about certain places and certain times you talk about business, and then certain times it's just strictly personal. Don't talk about it. Like at the dinner table, you don't talk about business. You just talk about your life personal. When we're outside, then we talk about business. So it kind of keeps that dynamic of that relationship where it's like location based. You kind of have that mindset. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of how he does it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I need to do that. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it, right? Because sometimes there's no boundaries.
Yeah.
It's just like you're driving, and now we're getting in an argument because we don't agree on something about business.
Yeah.
Where, that's not the time.
Like for example, you're on vacation. It's supposed to be your time, and you're just something about business, just arguing.
Yes. So yeah, that's a good way to do it. That's a good way to do it.
Are you ready to get into the more deep and personal questions?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Growing up, who was Marc before Islas?
What?
Like, who were you like as a kid compared to now? And could you ever have imagined like you being where you are today, who you are today?
Wow, that's
Reflection.
That's deep, man. It's funny because like I don't know, when you get older, I feel like time goes by faster, and I feel like I'm in a race right now. So like, especially at my age, like, I want to make sure that the decisions I make are important for like my family and people around me, right? But I guess with my childhood, I had a good child upbringing here in Toronto. I grew up with a family of 5, my parents, my brother, my sister. And we had a lot of cousins at the time because, my parents were allowed to sponsor a lot of our relatives at the time. So I always grew up around like relatives, cousins, family parties. And I think that's kind of how I knew a lot about food and just that's what I knew about our culture, right? Anyway, plus my mom was a great like cook at home. Like,
did she inspire you a little bit?
She actually, I guess one of my earliest childhood memories of food was like she would call me to be like the taster of the food, like before she finishes the dish.
The taste tester.
So I'd be like the taste tester, and I think that's what. Just my earliest memory of food was that, right? Like she would call me, whatever I was doing at the time, and just like taste it to see if it need any more seasoning. So, like that was like something I used to do with her, which was a great memory because that's just something that I did with my mom, right? And then not knowing that now, like especially being in the food industry, you're always tasting, you're always like. And that's kind of how I work my recipes as well, just based off of like tastings, right? So I don't even know how to cook a lot of dishes, but I know what it should taste like. So it's just finding out the technique and
what goes in here
the
to make it taste like
adjustment
this.
to make it taste like that, right? So that's kind of how I find like Filipino food now, right?
Did you grow up? Were you always what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh man. For me, it's funny. I was like, if it was height, if I grew taller, I swear I'd want to be like a baseball player.
A baseball player.
Yeah.
That's the first.
Yeah, that because I grew up playing baseball.
Do you still play?
I would. I can swing a bat. I can throw a ball, right?
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that growing up in the '90s, it was one of those things where baseball was like
booming.
One of the top sports, right? Blue Jays were like champions, things like that. So based off of height, I was like, I'd be a ball player, baseball, some type of sport player, right? But growing up, it was just like, I was just about exploring, right? So I always wanted to see different things, and I think that's what led me into like the travel industry.
Right? And then eventually getting into culinary and then owning your own business.
Yes.
That's a wild journey.
Yes.
Was there any limiting beliefs you had to shatter or break to become who you were today?
What do you mean by that? Like shattering?
When I say limiting beliefs, I mean, for example, things that you think are true but aren't true. For example, a limiting belief could be, for example, someone grew up with not a lot of money, so then they think money is always scarce. Or someone grew up not as confident, so they think, I'm just naturally not a confident person. I shouldn't do X, Y, Z. I shouldn't start a business because I don't think I can make it. So is there any limiting belief that you recall that you had as a child that you had to, for example, break through or redefine growing up?
I don't know. Like that's an experience that everybody has to have, right?
Yeah.
Like, just because, like, I'll relate this actually to the childhood too, because I feel like I'm still on that part, but because I feel like there's an experience that people need to have. Not saying that this limits people, because if you have a great idea, you have a great maybe you have a great vision to do something. I think it's possible, like no doubt, like especially nowadays, like you could literally open up a business just because you have an idea. But like for me growing up, I remember there was a time where my family went through hard times, right? And I think that instilled in me or sparked something in me to maybe one day to have a business, right? Like, and I didn't know, I was a kid, but to see my family go through like hard times where, You know, we're living in a 2-door garage. And then we had to move and live in a basement. Like that experience alone, and it's not like you could put that on anybody, but like that experience alone made me think about, wow, man, I got to do something in the future for my family, right? And not knowing that it kind of did spark that thought process to kind of seek business
to do something greater,
do something with business, right?
Yeah.
So even growing up, like not knowing what I wanted to do, you know, throughout school, I still always thought about maybe I want to own a business one day, though, right? I just kind of want to be in control, like.
You know, you want to do something, but you didn't know what specifically.
I didn't
right?
know what exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And yeah, like I said, that's not something you could just instill in anybody. But for me, it was I guess more of like a motivator, right? It pushed me to want to learn more about business and being, you know, a self-employed.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you find it scary being a business owner?
It's scary in a sense where you don't know what's gonna happen, but the reality is no one really knows what's gonna happen, right? Whether you work at a job or own your own business, we're still in the same boat, right?
Yeah.
Meaning like we don't know if it's gonna succeed or fail, right? And because I have also years of experience doing a lot of jobs too, like
what different
like
type of jobs?
I've been a jack of all trades. Like I've done.
I only know the travel industry and restaurant.
Man, when I was traveling to the Philippines, I was doing like 4 different things
At the same time?
Yeah, I was like okay. You wouldn't even know this, but I was a rock climbing instructor.
Okay.
I was a travel agent. I was cleaning offices, like dental offices. And then sometimes I would even hustle for my friend who was doing papers.
What do you mean by papers?
Like paper routes, like Toronto Star.
Oh.
Right? So I was like hustling.
All at the same time?
Well, at the time, because I wanted to clear all my debts, right? I didn't want to have any debt. And I wanted extra cash to travel, right? So I was just grinding, right? Just to make money, right? And at that time, I don't think there was much stuff to learn online, but I was selling cruises and things like that, right?
You did a lot of things.
So
rock climbing instructor took me off guard.
Yeah. Well, you know, for me, that was just a fun thing to do. Like I think that's one of the best sports, like just to do, right? So.
Do you still rock climb, or is it like a hobby?
Right now, not yet, but
not yet.
I would like to go back to it for sure. Like there's a gym close by here. You know, I know the owner there, so I was thinking maybe in my spare time I'll go up there, right?
Yeah, but you're here every day. You're a busy man.
Well, you know, you got to make time for yourself too, right?
I like that.
You know, business is business, right? Like I always have to remind myself that business will go on whether I'm there or not. So I can't be just giving up my whole life to business.
To business, yeah. Or else you'll feel burnt out. You feel like it's a job in a sense at that point.
I'm gonna end up hating it, right?
Yeah, I find that, at least for me. Okay, here's a question: Do you think there is work-life balance as a business owner, or do you think there's no work-life balance? You just learn to enjoy the things you do.
I think it's like the thing we talked about earlier of like having some boundaries, I think.
Yeah.
Where if you don't limit certain things or if you don't allow certain things to happen, like, because business will just keep going. Like there's always so much to do that if you're a workaholic, you're just going to keep working, right? It doesn't matter. You're not going to sleep. Like, yeah, you can literally not sleep and you have things to do.
Yeah.
So I think I have to think about it like that, where I have to find a balance for myself to just stay sane, man, because like if not, I'll go crazy, right? There's just too much things to do. There's always work to do. So I just gotta find that. I'm trying to find that balance right now as we speak, right? Like, you know, where I can feel normal, like ride my bike. Like I go mountain biking, so like I just feel normal when I'm on my mountain bike.
Yeah.
Hey, but if I'm always here and I'm always grinding for business,
you'll go insane.
And I'll go crazy because it's not always a pretty day. Like, you know, there's days it's good, there's days it's bad, right? So
Yeah. How I find my balance, because I used to always try to achieve work-life balance, and then I did a sales job, and then one of my bosses at the time, he was like, there's no such thing as work-life balance. I'm like, I'm gonna challenge that. Like, I don't think, like, I think there is a work-life balance, but moving forward and experiencing life, I think that, well, yes, you can find a work-life balance, but at least for me, I don't think there is a work-life balance. I just think you have little pockets during the week, during the day, that makes you reset your mind. For example, I like to play volleyball. I'm a big sports guy. I don't watch sports, but I'm a big sports guy.
yeah.
So a couple of times a week, I like to go out with my friends and play volleyball, and that's like my reset moment. That's my mountain biking moment for you. That's my rock climbing moment for you.
Yeah.
And then right after that, okay, I'm good. I'm energized. I can go back to doing business, working on papers, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So that's what
No,
I think.
we need that, man. Honestly, we need that because it's like, yeah, it gives us that little bit of peace, right? Where
Yeah.
we're not always constantly grinding, right?
Wanna
That's
enjoy
why, like,
life, too.
even before, like, you know, I was kind of in the pandemic. I was a little bit jealous of all the digital nomads and the people that could work from home, right? Because I was like seeing them, you know, they're able to earn a living, but they're at home.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh man, like I wish I could do something like that,
Am I in the wrong industry?
right? So then I decided to live on top of the restaurant in Parkdale. So at least I can be close to home, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, man, at least this is the best thing I could do in the industry.
That's good.
But you know, I think it's easier to find a work-life balance now, especially you know, if you could do things like that where you're working from home or you could work mobile, right? You know, I think that's the benefit of this, you know, online, right? Being
This
online.
age.
So yeah.
I mean, everyone's work-life balance is different anyways. My work-life balance could be 1 day out of the week. Someone else's could be 3 or 4 days out of the week. Right. But moving forward, we're still on the childhood part, or I guess whole life experience.
Yeah.
What would you say was the biggest lie someone ever told you? Like, what was the biggest lie that you realized it wasn't true?
No, I think a lot of the time when it comes to, I'm gonna just relate it to business.
Yeah, go for it.
Like, I think people always limit what they don't know. Like, meaning like they think they need this much money to start business, or they need this to do this, right? I didn't know how this was gonna happen, but I think me having a vision and a goal in mind kind of led towards it happening.
Okay.
Right?
Like, you made it happen.
Like people talk about like dream boards or having vision boards on their wall and writing their goals. I really believe there is something to that. Like, it's gonna make you work towards it, right? But if you're like shooting blanks and don't know what you're gonna do, then you won't do nothing, right? So it's kind of like that mindset where, right, like you could work, like I've worked a lot of jobs, but at the same time I had it on my mind that eventually, like, let's just relate it to the restaurant. So when I came into the restaurant industry, I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm just gonna soak in whatever they teach me, keep my head down, stay humble, and just learn everything I can.
Yeah.
Right? So every restaurant that I went to, I had an opportunity to do just that, where, things just came to me, right? Where at first I'm just working the line, I'm learning everything on the line, try to do it to my 100%. Next thing you know, I meet a guy that works in there and he's like, hey, do you want to do some catering? Like, you know, part-time? I was like, okay, yeah, sure, let's try it. And I had no idea about catering, but then now we're catering at a movie set, right? This guy was like in TV.
Yeah.
So now we're catering at a movie set where we have to buy food, cook it in the house, prepare it for these people. And, you know, next thing you know, these guys are like, you know, rich people. They have a lot of, you know, influence, right? So now we're getting different catering jobs every now and then. So I was like, okay. And then after that, I meet another chef at another restaurant, and then he led me to becoming a sous chef at a restaurant downtown. And then I think the ball just kept rolling because now I'm learning how to deal with inventory. I'm learning how to deal with ordering produce for the restaurant.
Yeah.
Right? And at that time, if anyone's read like Kitchen Confidential, Anthony Bourdain, like at that time, I swear it was happening to me at that time. Like whatever this guy is writing about in the restaurant, the worst things that could happen, it was happening to me at that restaurant. So I was like, whoa, okay. And then, so I feel like when you have a vision or you have a goal, it will kind of lead you towards it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, like, you're not gonna even know what you're learning.
So just, you would say like gaining clarity on where you're going.
So I feel like a lot of people, let's go back to that question you asked me, what's the biggest lie? I think this could relate is, especially with a lot of guys I work with, right? There's a lot of guys that have a lot of talk, they want to do this, they want to do this, right? And that's cool. Like, everyone's inspiring chef, everyone's inspired to do this and that in the industry. But I really feel like the guys that want to do it, that will do it, are the ones that are like,
not talking.
They're not talking. They're the ones writing notes. Like, they're the ones taking notes of what the chef's saying, and they're doing it, right? They don't have to be told twice to how to cook something. They just learn it the first time, right? And that's the difference between a lot of people that, there's a lot of people that will talk and they'll say this and that, but they're not taking, you look at their actions and it's like, they don't really want it, right? So I think that, because that's everyone that I've known, even from that, starting at Joey's, like I know a lot of people that came from there, not to call names, but like there's people that are actually doing big things now, and there's people that aren't, right? Or they're not even in the industry anymore, right?
Yeah.
But, I'm taking it from that example,
of course.
Right? That, just kind of having a vision of where you're going will eventually lead you there, right?
I like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that, yeah, because at least for me, starting out, I say back in the day like I'm old, but years back, I've always had this idea, entrepreneurial spirit, to do something. I just didn't know what.
Yeah.
Right, so I was always starting this side hustle, doing this, going to this job, trying to learn, but I was always I find that always diverting my attention. Like we go back to like the procrastination, like people jumping thing because they don't want to deal with the problem. I say that because I was that. Because I find that, for example, I had a problem in this, and it was in my head too much of a hassle or too big of a problem that I couldn't handle. So I just jumped to the next thing. I jumped to the next thing. And I jumped to the next thing, and eventually I find out that years later, I suck at everything. I'm not good at everything. Or you know how they say, what's the Bruce Lee kick? The Bruce Lee quote where it's like, I don't fear the man who does like 1,000 different kicks. I fear the man who just does one kick 1,000 times. Where it's having that focus.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I tried too many things. I started jumping here because I see opportunity. But then I just suck. I'm level 1 at every single one of them.
Man, it's like, actually, that's a great point. I'm going to add to it, is because like, it's like chasing the money, right? Sometimes when I change industries, I came to a point in my life where I didn't want to do it for the money anymore. And that's the thing, right? Because like a lot of time we're looking at the money. We're looking at, what am I going to get from this? What am I going to get? But when I decided to not do it for the money, and I just wanted to find something that I enjoy doing, I love doing, that's what led me into like finding out that I could even cook, right? Like, because before that, I used to do sales too. I know how it was to do sales, door to door, you name it. But it was like, when I found out, hey, I want to do something with cooking, right? And I kind of wrote stuff though. Like, I don't know if you've done this before.
What do you mean I wrote
stuff?
But
at that time, I wrote stuff that I love doing. Like, say 10 things that I love doing, 10 things that I hate doing. And this actually made it clear for me, because when I noticed I lean more towards like the traveling, the writing, eating.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I lean more to that side than I do, say, more the techie side. Right?
Yeah.
But I still like things on this side too. It's just like my mind goes more towards, I would say, the right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's what made me think about, oh, maybe I'm gonna try something with like food, right? Go back into the industry and see if I like it, right? And then it just came easy because now I felt like I was operating in my talent, in my gift, right? And I think a lot of people that don't know who they are yet, it's very easy for them to jump like ship to ship because they don't know who they are. They don't know what they want, right?
Yeah.
But when you find out exactly what you're good at or what your talent is, now it just becomes easier.
Yeah. It like flows.
It flows,
Yeah. My previous boss also said that, for example, how do you not know if you like it or you got it unless you don't try? Right? And my mom says this as well. She's like, how do you know if you don't try? Yeah. And in the context, it was like, for example, yeah, it was in the context of going to a club. Like I've never been to a club, and then my boss is like, how do you know you don't like a club if you've never been to one? Right? So then I kind of took that in as a life lesson, where it's like, I won't know unless I try, and then once I've done it, then I can say for sure, hey, I don't like this, or hey, I like this, or hey, I'm good at this, whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
So do you like clubbing or no?
I've never been to one still.
Okay.
I've never been to one still.
Okay.
If you could sum up your entire journey, your entire Isla journeys in just one sentence, what would it be?
Ooh, one sentence.
One sentence.
That's tight. Oh man. I don't know. That's a tough question. One sentence, man.
Take your time. Take your time.
I would say. Man, I think. Well, I like what you talk about, Bruce Lee. You know, just
just trying.
Being able to adjust, like like water, right? Being able to adjust. So, I felt like my career in this industry. There's still so much to learn that. Like, I guess what I'm enjoying right now. Like, I feel like I'm just starting. To be honest with you, like I know there's, we go by the years, 7, 8 years, but sometimes it's like 1 year you only learn one lesson, right? Second year you only learn maybe a few things, right? So for me, I still feel like I'm just starting again, from the beginning, and I feel like right now. I don't know if I could sum it into one sentence, just because there's like so much.
There's so much, eh?
There's so much to learn, but I would like to say, okay. I would say this industry, restaurant industry right now, for me, what's amazing about cooking, like, especially my background, where I'm from, is like I'm also learning the history. As I'm learning the food, right? So I don't know if I could put that into a sentence, but that's what I would say. It's kind of like I'm cooking towards the future of Filipino food, but at the same time I'm learning from the past.
Okay.
Right?
I like that
Because I'm
one.
learning the history of our food at the same time, right? So. Yeah, I don't know if we could do something like that.
I like that one.
Yeah. So it's like bringing it together. I don't know.
Bringing the future and the past together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I like the way you worded it. But
you get what I mean, though?
I do get what you
because it's
mean.
like I'm adjusting here. I'm learning how to cook Filipino food here in Canada, right? It's not necessarily the same as the Philippines, but then I'm taking a lot and learning why or where this food's coming from in the Philippines.
Yes.
Right?
So you're learning, you're always moving forward towards the future, but you're also bringing like past experiences, past history into the future.
Yes. Right?
Like that. If you could go back in time and speak to your younger self, what would be one piece of advice you would give them? Give younger Mark that would totally change his life.
I would just say, keep have more faith, right? Have more faith and not doubt, right? Because sometimes like I said, I get distracted a lot. There's a lot of things that could distract me. But if I just focus and I just put my focus on what needs to be done, I think I'd be a lot farther ahead too.
Yeah.
I think I'd be ahead of the game a couple years if I just keep focused,
And not just diverge into different things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and not doubt, not look back too much.
Have
right?
faith is a big one, yeah.
Yeah, having faith, right? Just taking the step, right? Because a lot of time we just don't take the step, right? Like jumping here was a big step. It was a big step for us actually, but it was like if we didn't take this step, then I was looking at all the case scenarios. If I didn't take this step, where would I be then, right?
Oh, so you're weighing out the future potentials if you didn't take this one versus if you stayed at Parkdale.
Yes,
Yeah.
right? So we weighed that out, right? It's kind of like scaling your life in a sense, scaling your business, right? If I stay there and I see ourselves through there, I don't know, maybe we'll just fade away, right? That's kind of what I was thinking.
Did you feel stagnant? Is that why you wanted to move to here?
I felt a little bit, I guess, too comfortable.
Yeah.
Where, like, it was a little bit easy now. Like, it was just running itself, right? But I wasn't stretching myself to do more. I wasn't pushing myself to be creative anymore, right? I stepped away from like that, where I got caught up in the day-to-day struggles of the business, right? Just paying the bills, getting, just getting caught up in the struggle of it, and I didn't put my attention on the creativity anymore. Growing it, like scaling the business, right? Like, I just felt like we would just fade away, right? So that's why we even talked about expanding and growing it, right?
Yeah, because right now you just have one location.
Yeah, just this location.
This one, right?
Yeah. This is gonna be our basically Islas home.
The main.
Yeah.
The main.
The main place. Yeah.
So here's a question then. This when you were deciding to come here, was there ever a thought to also open up, for example, keep the Parkdale and just open up a new, like, multiple Islas instead of just having one? Was that ever a conversation or a thought you had?
It was a conversation, but I never seen Islas as like
a chain,
a franchise chain.
Yeah.
No, I didn't really see it becoming that. It could, but I didn't want to be like having 5-6 locations downtown of the same food, like. So no, I really seen it more as like a unique place, and if I opened up another one, it would be a different kind of theme, but under the same company.
Same company,
right? Because there's a lot of food Filipinos could play with, man. I don't know if you know how many types of cuisine we have, but we have a meal for every time of the day.
I heard you guys.
Meaning, like, we have breakfast. So in between breakfast and lunch, we have a thing called merienda.
Okay.
So after lunch,
I don't know any of this.
Yeah. After lunch, we also have another merienda. Then we have dinner. And then after dinner, we have even late night. Like this word here, pulutan, means like snacks.
Oh, that's what it means?
Yeah. So like,
I was wondering. I was like, that
pulutan's like a bar snack. Like, it's like something you have when you're drinking.
Yeah.
Right? So, I thought, and on top of that, we have desserts. So, like,
oh yeah, you guys.
We could do halo
big on desserts.
Halo store. We could, there's a lot of things you could do, right? So
yeah.
I thought if I ever open up another thing, I want something a little bit different, and but it'll still be like a Filipino style.
Filipino
cuisine,
style.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I think you're the first person I asked that actually doesn't want to franchise in a sense, which is pretty interesting. I like the idea though. You want to keep it how do I word this? You want to keep the originality in one store, right? and then if you do expand, it's just different segments of the main hat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with Filipino food right now, anyway, if I did do a franchise, it would be more along fast food, right? Because that's kind of what Filipino food was known for. Is
Fast
just
food?
like fast takeout, right?
Oh, like
So
quick
a
to
lot
make
of
types.
most Filipino restaurants, they're like takeout. Like you just point what you want. You know, I think Chinese the same, right? Just so a lot of
Yeah.
takeouts ones. I want this, right?
Yeah, they already have the dishes made.
So we call
everything.
that like pika pika, right? Where you could just choose what you want, right? This. So like, if I am going to go that route, that's what that would be, right?
Uh-huh.
Like it would be like a fast food, maybe get into a mall, right? Something like that, where it's just like standard dishes and they just take out, right?
And then this would be dining experience, full customer service.
So here is a little bit more unique because we could be more creative.
Yeah.
We could create new dishes, right? We could play around with it, right? We don't have to be stuck to doing it a certain way, right?
That's cool. All right, you ready for the final? Final two in a sense?
Let's go.
Final two, yeah.
Let's go.
Ask everyone this. What is your definition of success?
Oh man, I had a lot of ideas of what that success means, right? But now that I'm like so invested in business now, I feel like success has to go back to like what you're really doing this for, right? Because originally you just think the money and you think like
that's initial. That's everybody's initial.
Being like, like being able to just like
be financially free.
The financial side of it, right? You see the finances and you see like everything's up, right? But I think that has to come like I appreciate it more now because we're going through the struggle of it.
Yeah.
We're going through the hard times, the hardship of it, that the success is more received when we go through these hard times.
It'll be worth it.
Right? But I think going back to what we were talking about, I think going back to what I'm doing it for. So like for me, it's important that I don't get caught up with just the, because I remind myself, like when we started this thing, like, or even when my wife came here, we didn't have a lot, right? So I always have to remind myself that where I came from, right? So as we're growing in business and we're expanding and this and that, I can't get caught too much with that. It's more about the goal,
like
still
why
the
you
same,
really start?
right? And it's about serving the people. It's about connecting, like serving the people, connecting the people, building the community, and then at the same time having that balance with my life, that I'm not. Like I'm still in the home. I still have time to spend with my family, and being there for them, right? Because it's not, the monetary is great, but you're not always gonna be needing that if those other things aren't working. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I heard a quote once where it's like money isn't the most important thing, but it affects almost everything important in your life. So I can see, even for myself, like the initial goal is for money, because, for example, if you're not financially stable in a sense, all you're doing is just money to have that freedom.
Yeah.
But once you get to a point where you see money isn't everything, although it is like the major part, like a majority part of our lives, it's not the most important thing. Like having friends, having family, building meaningful relationships, making the life that you want to live. At least to me, that's the most important part.
Yeah, and wanting the success for others, right? Because I think a lot of the time when that's why it's cool that you're doing this mindset thing, because it's like, I think when I was working in the restaurant, a lot of time we're always just thinking about ourselves, like what can I get for myself? What can I get from this company? What can I take from this company, right? You're not really thinking about the company. But now that I'm on the other side of it and I see it as like a, you know, in a different angle, and I see my employees and I see the guys that work for me. You know, and I'm fortunate that I was able to get a few employees that actually cared about the company. It made me realize that like a lot of the success too is also more beneficial when you could help others succeed in their life as well, right? When you know, not knowing that we would help people that first migrated here to Canada, and you know, they worked with us, and now you know, now some of them are accountants, right? Some of them have their own careers now, right? But not knowing that our restaurant was going to be like a place for them to start, right? So that's like, for me, that's like already success for me. It's like seeing where we started and seeing how people came to us, and then now they're like, you know, doing good in their own careers now. Yeah, it's not necessarily has to be restaurant, but obviously when they're working with us, they're learning from us, right?
Yeah.
And yeah.
I like that one. One final thing. You ready?
Yeah.
This is a new one I put in. Finish this sentence for me. All right?
Okay.
The world needs more of.
That's it.
You
You cut it off too short, man. The world needs more of. That's so broad, bro. It's such a broad question.
Whatever you want to think of.
The world needs more of. I guess the world needs more of like I guess knowledge of these industries, right? Because there's a lot of things people could be doing better. Or I'm gonna push it back to knowledge of themselves, like knowledge of like who they are. Because people don't. When I found out that one of my talents was food and things like that, it changed my career. But like for a long time, I didn't know what I wanted to do, right? I was just rock climbing and like, because I enjoyed it, but it's like I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I feel like if more people know what they're good at, or they really start to search themselves, like, because I think everyone has it, they just don't know, right? You have something in you that you probably just don't even know yet, because you don't know that part about you, right? It was like when I first went to the Philippines as an adult, it was another side of me that I didn't know,
that you never experienced before.
And it was like amazing to me, because I was like, whoa, like I didn't know, like it started to reveal to me why I was the way I was when I visited like where we grew up and where my dad grew up, and I got to see the environment and I got to see the way they are. Then I was like, oh, now it makes sense to me why I'm like this. Right? But like, and that's the thing, because a lot of people just don't know who they are, right? So they're just influenced, right? We're all influenced, right? We're all influenced by whatever we're watching, whatever we're listening to. But it doesn't mean that's who you are, right?
You need to know what to say no to,
right?
Like you said.
Like, for me, I was like, you know, a gangster because of what I used to listen to. You know what I mean? Like, and who I was influenced by.
Yeah.
But growing up, now I realize, like, oh man, like that. A lot of it was because I was just
listening to this.
Influenced. I was corrupted by those thoughts, where I'm not really like that, right? So I think the same thing when it goes to your gifts and your talent. I think soul searching yourself to figure out who you are and what you like to do or what you're naturally good at. I think you'll be way ahead in your career that way than if you don't do it, right? If you just go with the flow and you follow the money or you chase the money, you know, you're always gonna be chasing. You're never gonna be satisfied, right?
That's all I have for you, Mark.
All right. Well,
Thank you for your time.
That's all I got, man. I think that's a lot there, but I think that's one of the key things for me. Yeah.
That's a good conversation. How do you feel?
Feel good. Man.
Feel good?
Feel good, yeah.
Is there any final things you want to say to the cameras? Shout outs, whatever?
No, just come visit us. We're here at 890 Wilson Avenue. We're open, 7 days a week. And come visit us. We're doing lunch, dinner. We do catering. We have an event space to do parties. But yeah, we'd like to have you and come visit.
All right. Other than that, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you.